Only program of this type in this market. Don't miss your weekly dose of conservative talk radio. WOCA 11 a.m. Fridays, 96.3 and 1370 a.m.
Sunshine and some clouds today, high 81 to 85. Tonight mainly clear, low 60. Tomorrow sunshine and warm, high 84 to 88. Saturday warm with some sunshine, high 84 to 88. Sunday cloudy and remaining warm, high 84 to 87. Monday, times of clouds to sunshine, high Monday, 83 to 88.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Listening to AM Ocala Live, WOCA, The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, broadcasting to you live from the Paddock Mall. We are streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA, The Source Radio. And as we're coming up 20 minutes before the top of the 11 o'clock hour as we round out our show here. And now, like we do, and we have been doing for the last few Thursdays, we have County Commissioner Kathy Bryant in the studio with us here to talk a little bit surrounding the community and the county in itself, with some events that are coming up and some other information that's important. And of course, the information that is important, we know that we're going to have to get into, so I figured we just nip that in the bud and get right to it, is, of course, and that was the topic last week, and it was kind of getting the information out there, of course, the COVID-19 with the coronavirus and the expectations of it and everything else. Here we are a week later, and we've got some more information to pass along. So welcome, Kathy.
Good morning. How are you today?
Exhausted. I am beat down. I am staying positive as I can as we roll through this. It's been a busy week with more updated news and certain events going on, so it's not like it's dragging, but just all the talk of COVID-19 and all these expectations, and then you know what it is. It's having, and let me digress for a moment here, but it's pretty much this spectrum of information that's out there. And like last week, we tried to deliver right on the point of fact that's coming from important people who are dealing with this and trying to inform the community in itself. And then on Monday, I had an opinion-based idea that we were doing not enough to get the word out, even though I was talking about some other things, just to get a nice, positive week going with all of the talk going on the variety. I wanted to bring in some variety to the conversation. Here we are on Thursday, and it's almost to an extent where I have no choice but to talk about it, to the extent that there is so much information out there. We're getting more factual information, which is important. But now I think what's happened is there's so much out there now that everybody's got an opinion. So it's almost as if, like, if it's important here, everybody's trying to take some grain of salt to the idea of it being super important, or, yeah, it's there and I'll deal with it. It's a little goofy. So I'm getting things from all over, and it's wearing me out.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that it's wearing you out. But the one thing that I will promise you is when I come into the studio, I will give you current and factual information.
Excellent.
And it will be information geared toward the citizens of Marion County. And what's happening in our community. I think, the biggest thing to keep reminding people is, as of today, at this time, we still have 0 confirmed cases in Marion County.
Right.
There's been questions as to whether or not there have actually been people tested from Marion County, The answer is yes. As I stated last week, at that time, the protocol was for the hospitals to collect the samples, send them to the Department of Health, and they were being sent to labs in Jacksonville, Tampa, or Miami. For Marion County, the tests were sent to the lab in Jacksonville, and we were able to get results back within 24 hours. As of Monday, I believe it was Monday, it's been a pretty busy week. The tests have expanded. There are now a couple of private sector labs that will also be performing the tests, so able to make sure that we are testing anyone who is showing the symptoms, who has been to a travel related area, but it's also up to the doctors that they go see. And again, the doctors and the hospitals will not be performing tests. They will be collecting the samples.
Right.
The samples will be sent to the testing labs for the test to be performed. And here in Marion County, I believe at this time we have LabCorp also up and running those tests along with the Department of Health labs.
Okay.
There have been some updated travel advisories since last week and recommendations. And for those folks who meet the level 3 requirements, which would be you've traveled to China, Iran, South Korea, or Italy, they're recommending, for those folks coming back from those countries, a 14-day self-isolation and social distancing upon return to the United States. For those who have a question about social distancing, that means avoid going out in public, close personal interactions, and if you become symptomatic, immediately self-isolate and contact your county health department or healthcare provider. And then we have level 2 travelers, which are coming in from other countries, and people coming in from cruises. Those travelers at this point should monitor their health and limit interactions with others for 14 days after returning to the United States. Again, if you become symptomatic, immediately self-isolate and contact your county health department or healthcare provider. And let's clarify what the symptoms are.
Exactly.
Because there's questions on that as well.
Exactly.
Those symptoms would be fever, cough, sore throat, shortness of breath. Those are the main symptoms of COVID-19. Also, if you've had contact with someone who has or is under investigation for COVID-19, they would like, self-isolation and report any of those symptoms to your healthcare provider or hospital as well. Nothing's changed as far as the prevention. And it's pretty common sense stuff for preventing not just COVID-19, but all infectious diseases. Stay home when you're sick. Avoid contact with people who are sick. Make sure you're eating well and sleeping. Wash your hands often with soap and water for 20 seconds or longer. Dry your hands with a clean towel or air dry your hands. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth with unwashed hands or after touching surfaces. Cover your mouth with a tissue or sleeve when coughing or sneezing. Clean and disinfect high-touch surfaces often. And remember, if you meet any of those requirements and you become symptomatic and you think you need to go and be seen, call the healthcare provider that you're going to go into before you go in so that they can take the precautions to isolate you from the general population of other patients that possibly will be in there.
Do you know if I've been hearing some weird stuff about it. I was wanting to know from whom you've talked to. If you felt symptoms and you wanted to get looked at for getting tested for COVID-19, do you know if that's something, if you do not have health insurance, that you would have to pay for?
I don't have the answer to that question.
No? Okay. I was wondering that too. I had heard something earlier in the week that, they were offering for people to freely get tested for that, but then I'm hearing other information that's saying that no, if you got health insurance, it'll be covered by it. If you don't, it'll be an exponential price. So I was just curious too, as we're mentioning, for people to take caution of symptoms and to get tested. But
I would imagine if you have health insurance, your health insurance is going to cover this as they would any other sickness or illness. But I'll be sure to ask that question, and I'll have more information for you when we come back next week.
Yeah,
because we will be talking about this every week.
Yep.
Next week, we will have someone from our local Department of Health in here to talk about the updates another week into it.
Okay.
Things will change. I will say this. Right now, we have 0 confirmed cases in Marion County. The time is going to come where that will change. Everyone needs to understand that when that comes, number one, don't freak out. We have plans in place.
Okay.
We are constantly going over our plans in how we're going to get information out to the public, recommendations to keep the public's, the general population safe. And I think, again, the biggest thing to remember, most people will have mild to no symptoms. The people that we do have to look out for are our elderly,
right,
and are immune compromised.
Right.
And it comes down to just making smart decisions for your health care. Mm-hmm. If you know that you're immune compromised, take care. Don't put yourself in a situation where you could be in a large gathering,
right,
where somebody could unknowingly have the COVID-19 and pass it on. So it's just, I think there's a little bit of common sense planning that needs to go into what we're doing now, along with all of the other prevention, general prevention that you would normally do to keep yourself from getting a cold or the flu or any other virus that is out there.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right. Now,
let me also say this. If you have questions, there is a dedicated COVID-19 call center for the Florida Department of Health. I'm going to give that number out again. That is 866-779-6121. That call center is available 24 hours a day. Anyone that thinks that they might have been exposed, please contact the health department immediately. During regular business hours, that number is 352-644-2633, or after hours, 866-568-0122. Also, if you're on social media, pay attention to the Marion County, Florida Facebook page. We are putting out a daily update at the end of the day, every day, letting people know, as of now, the updates have been 0 confirmed cases. We will continue to push information out through that Facebook page, and we're encouraging others to share it. We just need to stay calm and understand we will get the latest information out to everyone.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Thank you very much, Kathy. As we were looking also, too, we know that in Florida there's 21 confirmed cases. And I was looking at the sheet that you have for the diagnosed in Florida, and 16 of them are travel-related. So to emphasize, like you said, if you have been traveling, and it's to the idea that, of course, if you came from the specific countries that we mentioned with Italy, China, and South Korea, and those areas, but also just if you traveled in general, to the idea that you think you would have symptoms, get yourself checked out, or if you have questions, give those numbers a call that were mentioned.
Correct.
Excellent. Do we want to move on to a little lighter?
I think we should move on to a little lighter. I think that people would like to talk about something else, and we want to make you feel better before we leave today.
That's right. Excellent. As we have you in here also to talk about some community events and stuff that's going on with the community and for the community. There's a little bit going on this weekend.
Just a little bit. So this is a beautiful time of the year, and there are all kinds of things going on in Marion County. One of the biggest events that will be going on today is the Master Gardeners Spring Festival, which will be held at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion. It will be March the 14th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and March the 15th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Admission is $2 per person. Kids 12 and under get in free, and there's free parking.
Yep.
So the thing to remember about this event, whether or not you have a green thumb, it is just amazing to see the plants that are out there. It features native and tropical flowers, herbs, trees, and shrubs that thrive in our region. There's no more guesswork in your yard work if you go out there. They can all help you. And for those of you who may have the plants you need, there will also be unique garden decor available for purchase. Certified Master Gardeners will be on site wearing dark green shirts to offer science-backed suggestions for your gardening success. So if you're like me and you don't have a green thumb and you need some recommendations or you need some help, our Master Gardeners are a wealth of knowledge, and they are always happy to talk about gardening.
Yes, they are. And that's the best part about that, is getting out there and just thinking like of questions you would have. I know, who did I talk to said, I got a list of questions every year before I go, because there might be a new plant that they have had on the back patio for the year, and there's questions about taking care of it. And I said, so it's in lieu of like when you're going to go check with your general physician. They're like, oh yeah, because I want to make sure those plants are good to go.
That's right.
And those Master Gardeners are always there to help, and this is something they look forward to. You know, it's a chance to inform some people on some pretty cool stuff that they're into, and not only that, from what they do with this festival in itself, it is beautiful how a lot of that stuff is set up. So
absolutely, and some of the other exciting things that'll be going on. You know, after you've talked with your Master Gardeners, you've walked through, you've seen all of the plants and garden decor, and you're starving, you can recharge and enjoy the variety of eats from the food trucks rally. And this year we'll have Ocala's own Big Lee's Barbecue out there.
Nice.
There will be a kids zone that will include live butterflies and bats. This is a great event to bring the kids to. Snakes, tarantulas, and even sheep. About 600 children visit that kids zone each year. So your family is sure to have a blast with the interactive exhibits, and it's cool to have the opportunity to plant your very own flowers or vegetables. This is the 26th anniversary for the Spring Festival.
Wow.
And with an average attendance of 8,000 ready-to-grow guests each year, it's still the largest gardening event of its kind in our area.
That's excellent. Wow, in 26 years.
26 years.
Man, that's incredible.
Yes. Some of the other things, you know, this isn't an event, but litter is always a topic of conversation. Unfortunately, I don't know what it is. There are those that think it's okay to throw their trash out of their moving vehicle or set their fast food bag into a parking lot, and it's not okay. Throw your trash in a trash receptacle. Sometimes it's accidental, and we understand that, but we all have an opportunity for those that want to contribute to their community to participate in the county's Adopt a Road program and clean up litter along county-maintained roadways. We have members from church groups, scout troops, and community organizations who participate by picking up litter along their adopted roadway 4 times a year, accounting for approximately 80 miles of clean county-maintained roadway. If you would like to be involved in that, we would love your family, business, or community group to adopt a road. Solid Waste, Marion County Solid Waste, provides trash bags, protective equipment, safety items, and your very own road sign identifying your group for the roadway segment that you've adopted.
Oh, nice.
So if you're interested, please contact Marion County Solid Waste, and they can help you get signed up to do that.
Yeah, that's excellent. And especially now, too, because with all of the flowers that are wanting to pop up and bloom that are along that roadside, I'd rather see flowers than the garbage, right?
Me too. I used to walk along 31st, and you would be surprised at the things that was just like, seriously?
Yep.
That were alongside the road.
Yeah.
I took a bag out one day and picked it up as I was walking, and it was just like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that, keep in mind, keep Ocala beautiful.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So we've just got about a few minutes, just a little bit to touch before the top of 11 o'clock hour. Anything else we want to mention in lieu of events or anything that's going on? Did I have anything?
Do you have anything that you want to talk about this week?
Do I have anything? The one thing in lieu of just to kind of wrap up, we trying to give the information out there with, of course, COVID-19 and all that stuff. And with that, too, was still impacting the idea of the area for what we're doing with the blood donations and our partners with Life South Community Blood Centers. They give us an immediate release notice. This was from yesterday. It carries over. But as a concern surrounding the impact of the virus, Life South ensures that the community and blood donors, that it is safe to donate blood and encourages the blood donation so that we can maintain a necessary blood supply. We have seen a sharp decline in the blood supply within the last day and a half. Sharp decline in donations is already felt due to the virus. Although individuals are not at risk of contracting the virus through blood donation process, and Life South assures that they are taking every precaution to minimize the risk to the blood donors. Blood donors are needed every day, and anyone who is in good health is encouraged to donate. They say, quote, respiratory viruses like COVID-19 are not known to be transmitted by blood transfusion, and no cases of transfusion-transmitted coronaviruses have been reported. And that comes from Dr. Chris Lowe, the Vice President of Medical Services for Life South. And the most significant risk to the blood supply posed by COVID-19 is the lack of ability due to the decrease in donations. So get out there, give the gift of life, and donate blood.
I'm glad that you brought that up. I was on a White House call yesterday, and that actually was brought up, and we're going to be putting together a blood drive specifically to help address that in our community, because there are still, people who are in car accidents, people that are in the hospital that do need blood, and there is a shortage. So we're going to put together a drive, and would love for anybody who's interested to come down and donate blood. So thank you for bringing that up.
Excellent. So that'll round it out as now we come to the top 11 o'clock hour to close out the show. Kathy, thank you very, very much. Last 2 weeks have been informative, and we look forward to next week, like you said, having them in the studio to talk more about it and have those facts come through. So for me and myself here at AM Ocala Live, thank you very much. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. Tomorrow is Friday. TGIF, my friends. And until then, I say to you, goodbye.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Chris Foster. Trading resumes on Wall Street after an automatic 15-minute freeze this morning when the markets fell another 7%.
I'm not nonchalant about the market movements, but I do think it's important for us not to panic.
New York